Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you a couple of Node 3 setup utilizing geometry nodes and also SVerchok. Basically, kind of like a brute force method to add Greebles. Okay, so this is obviously just like a Susan head, and I'm using these objects that's become the Greebles. And as you can see, it's kind of scattered, but it's also understanding the normal, of course. But it's not like it's not always like filling the space, but at least it tries to. So it's more like almost like a map. So you can increase the scale or play around with the scale of Suzanne, and you're gonna get more or less details. So this is really just using a bunch of objects. And this object is just kind of like a displacement, and this guy is using the displacement like this, just like a really basic displacement. It's generated using actually KUSHIRO add-on. It's called height baker, okay, by KUSHIRO. I can turn it on. So basically, I just in this case I only use like two, and it's really basic. It's just a bunch of primitives objects, but you can already see it looks pretty details on this. And from far away, it's kind of looking okay. It's looking so details, and your brain is just stop looking. It's just think that this is like complicated objects. And also, the nodes is rather simple, and you already see me using these same nodes over and over again. I'm just basically scaling Suzanne, and I can always scale it back over here to original scale. So it's pretty handy. But like I said, this is like the brute force using geometry nodes. It's really fast. That's the advantage. And yeah, you can really push it to the limit of your computer. Or you can always use pause on disk. So it will not overlap with pause on disk. But I kind of like the overlapping as well. In the past, I've been using SVerchok method. With SVerchok, of course, it's slightly different, but still kind of nice to be able to do this. This one is using adaptive method. So if you use the SVerchok method, it's looking something like this. So what's going on is I'm using Suzanne head, plug into this adaptive polygons node, and the instance objects is gonna be scaled and adapting to the polygon shape. It needs to be quad, and you can also see it's kind of stretching. If you play around with the topology and make a better kind of randomization topology, you actually have more control. Here I have two objects coming in, and I'm randomizing the polygon rotations. If you open my blend files with the node 3 and it's giving this error, you just basically need to update the node 3 over here. So it's recalculating the nodes and data. Wait a few seconds. Now it's working. I can randomize the seed. Okay, you can see it's updating. So with this adaptive polygon method, it's following the topology, and it will not overlap the instance of the plane of the Greebles. So I actually have 1000 here, 1000 variations, and you can play around with the frame width and also the height coefficients. You can actually kind of push it down. You can randomize whether it's going up or down in terms of displacement, so you can get more control. So yeah, I think this is a very easy to create. Okay, with the KUSHIRO, I haven't explained. Basically, if you have, okay, like I said, you just use like a primitive like this, and if you right click and use the hide baker, for example, if I make a little bit of changes, I'm using slow bevel. This is also from KUSHIRO, slow bevel. It's pretty cool. It's adding this nice bevel into each and every objects, and then you right click, hide baker, and for the resolutions, let's make it 1024. Save path, and save it to the desktop. Block 3. I just need to assign name, square output, and bake. In about a few seconds, we get EXR with this displacement that we can use to scatter into whatever we are doing. So I just create a plane, right, and then do the basic subdivision, simple, increase the displacement modifier, and grab our displacement. Now we have this. You can further increase this like to 8, but I think 6 is enough. And you can simply use this. For example, donuts, file, append. This is geometry nodes, node 3 that's doing the scattering. Now you have this Grebbles. Let me double check. Sometimes geometry nodes is smart enough to actually bring in the objects, even though we don't have the objects, it's still there. If I use my own objects, no, there you go. This is the one that we just baked. From far away, it looks perfect, I think. And if you like reading manga or things like that, I also kind of want to give you the trick, you know, like just using the camera angle and align the camera to view. If you're doing like a comics manga, as you want to get this kind of details, you can actually use this method just for line art. So we have this. This is the geometry nodes objects. I'm just gonna move it into new collections, and then I'm gonna do F3 line art collections. Oh, actually it's already reading the whole thing. It's gonna be using this and gonna generate this pencil line art for these objects. This might actually take a while, but the result is really beautiful. Kind of super detailed, and you don't actually need to trace everything, you can just use it. Okay, this might take a while, and I'm just gonna maybe cancel it, but you get the drill. So you create like a basic primitive displacement. It doesn't need to be basic actually. If you use the hide baker add-on, you can see this is something that KUSHIRO made. Like every day he made this kind of thing, and then he just baked projections. So he got this square, and he can use it as displacement or Greebles. This one's still calculating, but anyway, yeah, it's only like $5. It was actually free for an hour. I bought it $5. It's nothing. It's really useful. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.